and welcome to Round Robin. I'm your host, Robin McCormick with the City of Hampton, and today we're going to talk about a unique experience that you have to donate money to the cause you pick. Locally, it stays right here. This will be the second year of it. It's called Give Local 757, and my guests are going to tell you more about it. First of all, Michael Jones, welcome.
Thank you.
And you're with the Peninsula Community Foundation.
That is correct.
And you sort of brought this idea here, didn't you?
Well, not exactly. I worked for the Community Foundation up in Richmond for a number of years, and we had done our Giving Day similar to what is happening here. But 2014 was the anniversary of the first, it was the 100th anniversary of the first Community Foundation. And so nationally, the Council on Foundations wanted to do something to commemorate that event, so they created a day of giving all across America called Give Local America. And so they wanted to get as many communities across the nation to participate in this one day of giving. So when Mike Monteith had the suggestion, I said, well, you have nothing to lose. And I said, this would only benefit the foundation as well, but also all the nonprofits that serve the Hampton Roads community.
Which is a perfect intro to why Kathy Johnson is here. Yes. Welcome.
Thank you.
You are here to represent Alternatives.
Yes.
And well, why don't you describe what your agency does?
We're a youth development nonprofit, locally based right here in Hampton. We serve children on the Virginia Peninsula, and we also provide training to teachers and youth workers all across Hampton Roads. And we participated for the first time in Give Local 757 last year. And for us, it was a wonderful match in terms of a fundraising event, because we as an organization have never done golf tournaments and more typical kind of event fundraising.
Well, they take so much away from
your
mission.
They do, and so much time. It's time consuming. So to have a consolidated 24-hour push that's low cost for the organization was a marriage made in heaven for Alternatives. So we participated last year with Give Local.
So tell me how it works.
So the way it works is nonprofits register. They create profiles on a website, which will then be added to what is called a leaderboard. So
there's competition
there
involved.
Is definitely competition. There's definitely some competition involved.
Yes.
And every nonprofit gets their own donation form, which actually can be copied and embedded on your own website, or you can send it via link, via email, or a link via Twitter or Facebook. And the idea is, during that 24-hour period, to get as many donations as possible, to leverage, there are cash prizes, there's matching funds. Like for instance, this year, Bayport Credit Union, for instance, they're sponsoring a $500 prize to the very first nonprofit that gets a donation. So the event runs from noon on May 5th to noon on May 6th. So the very first nonprofit that gets a donation automatically gets $500. So that's something that you really can't strategize for, but you can get your people motivated, excited.
And that gets everybody going at the beginning.
Everybody going.
Then you see those numbers start to move.
Yes.
That's a smart idea.
Yes.
You've thought of a lot of incentives.
The list is only alphabetical for just for the first few moments, and then after that it changes. It all.
Well, see, you wanted alphabetical, right? Alternatives.
Well, at the beginning
very close
it
to
was.
The top.
Yes,
Actually,
but then you watch the leaderboard to
changes.
see who's on top.
But what we found, and this is actually true nationally as well, not just locally, but the organizations that tend to stay in the top 10 in the very beginning also end up in the top 10.
Because people see them when they go.
People see it.
And also they're probably the ones that are out there pushing it. So this, I think what makes this work is you guys at the Peninsula Community Foundation are doing as much publicity as you can, but then you rely on each of the agencies to reach out to their networks.
Like we're marketing the entire event, but they're the ones that are on the front lines. They're the ones that have the relationships with the people in the community. I mean, we do as well, but it's their stories to tell.
Yeah.
And this gives them a new way, a compelling way to tell their story and to engage new donors. In fact, 73% of the nonprofits that participated last year reported getting brand new donors out of it. In fact,
why do you think that is?
Well, in our story, it was because it's so driven by social media and technology that it was a great way for us to reconnect with previous youth who live outside of the state. Many of our, probably 20% of our donors came from previous youth participants who now live in California, New York, Florida,
Isn't
Louisiana.
That amazing? And they appreciated what you did
Yes.
for them, and they want to do
And
that
they want to
for
give
other
back.
kids.
And so being able to reach out on Twitter and on Facebook was really our mechanism to reach out for former AmeriCorps members and former youth participants. So it's just, for us, it's a great way to reconnect. And to be able to do it annually, it's a way to reconnect on an annual basis, to tell your story. Here's what's happening. Here's why we need your support, and we're so happy that you're part of our family.
Well, what does this tell us about this younger generation that, people are so worried about? Maybe they're disconnected, they're only on social media, they're not necessarily involved in their community. What we're seeing is that they are, right?
Yes,
when
they
we
are.
go to their platforms
Right.
and make it easy and convenient for them and engage them personally with the stories, they're going to give.
Well, and at the end of the day, this is really about people giving to people. This is about relationships. It's, if you just made a post on Facebook and said, just give me money, it's probably not going to work. But if you ask me personally, hey, my life was really impacted by this organization. This meant a lot to me. This meant a lot to my family. Your support would mean a lot. So whether you do that via email, in fact, many of the nonprofits made phone calls, people sent letters. So it's a new technology platform for raising money, but it's using old school, tried and true fundraising methods. People give because they were asked to give.
But they also like, I think, this defined period of time where it's not going to go on forever and ever. I know that I have this 24 hours. I'm going to get off my duff and do it. And as you said, maybe do it more than once.
Exactly.
Because the way that competition heats up.
Well, because there are prizes for the most number of donations in a certain period of time. Like, for instance, there's a lunchtime prize, so the nonprofit that gets the most donations between 12 and 2 gets $500. But then there's also a golden ticket prize, which means that any time during the day, at random, we'll pick somebody. And we'll just call them up and say, hey, you are our winner, so you get to pick the nonprofit that gets $1,000. And last year that went to HELP, actually, another Hampton-based nonprofit.
Organization
so,
that helps the homeless.
That helps the homeless, and so the donor that we happened to pick was a supporter of theirs. And so I called them up and she said, I wanted to go to HELP. And so when I called their director, I said, you just won $1,000. Because we happened to pick somebody at random. She was ecstatic. She was so thrilled. And so, but you can't plan for that, but the idea of...
But it is this idea that my gift maybe could go farther than what I'm able to give.
Yes.
There could be this magnification effect.
Right, that's let's say the first donation that comes in is $10. Yeah, the minimum donation is $10 this year. We lowered it because we want everybody to feel like they can be a part of this, because that was the whole idea. Because so many people often think that philanthropy is the world of the wealthy, but no, everybody can make a difference. And if you collect, my $10 and your $10 and your $10 all comes together, it can make a really huge impact. So this year, the first donation could be a $10 donation, but that would leverage $500. How exciting is that?
So it's such a great idea. And now how many nonprofits do you think you will have? You're probably still signing them up. But
we are still signing them up. We have a very short period of time left because the website needs to be, they need time to do all of their, put in all their bells and whistles. But we currently have about 140 nonprofits signed up.
Holy cow. And this is from the whole 757.
This is from the entire 757.
I think Peninsula Community Foundation, Hampton, Newport News, Williamsburg kind of area. But it's really broader than that.
Right. We have them from Norfolk, Virginia Beach, Chesapeake, Portsmouth, Suffolk, Isle of Wight, and as far up as Williamsburg. And even we have some that are in Gloucester because they do serve the 757 area as well. And yes, there was some talk at the very beginning last year. We are the Peninsula Community Foundation, but we see this as a great resource for the entire community. And
your goal, just a short amount about the Community Foundation. A lot of people don't really know you're out there.
Right.
Sorry, but.
Right, we're, you've heard of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. That's from Bill and Melinda Gates. So we're a community foundation, so we are made up of funds from the entire community. So we have individuals, families, corporations that entrust money with us. We invest it over the long term to support the community in perpetuity. And so we are connecting donors with causes that they care the most about. And yes, our focus is on the peninsula. It's all local.
It all stays here. Our money stays here, and I will say it helps people. It isn't always the kind of agencies that help people in need. Sometimes it's arts and museums
Yes.
and things that enrich our lives as well.
Yes.
And there's so many Hampton groups that I'm afraid to mention them because I know we'll leave people out and we have to be fair.
And there are a fair number of Hampton groups that have already signed up. So.
Yay!
And
there were last year. It's like,
Yes.
I remember we pushed it out on the city's Facebook page and we had to either list them all or list none. I mean, there were so many opportunities.
Well, and the great thing about this is that it doesn't matter whether you're a small community-based nonprofit or a large nonprofit that everybody knows about. You have the same platform, you have the same opportunity, and prizes are typically based on the most number of donations, not money raised.
So it isn't always about the big donor in this. It's about,
Exactly.
Now tell us, okay, I'm cheating because I know the answer to this, but tell the folks out there, what city had the most donors last year?
Actually, Hampton had the most donors last year. Yay!
I think, again, we are not the wealthiest community in the 757 by a long shot, but we give and we,
Yes.
help and we help each other, and it's a very community-oriented place. So I'm really proud of that.
Yes, it is. It's but we actually receive donations from every region of the 757, and actually one.
And we want to we want to challenge them. Okay, so we want Hampton to win again this year, but we want people to compete and try to get out there and have more donors.
Well, we just had a prize that was just Bank of America has put forth a $5,000 757 Community Challenge Prize. And in order to be eligible for that, you have to receive at least one donation from every city in Hampton Roads. So from Norfolk, Virginia Beach, Williamsburg, Isle of Wight, Poquoson. So this is going to make everybody really dig deep and go, who do I know in this region? Or do I know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody?
Just
So,
to try
and even
to
to
do
qualify,
that.
you have to be on that list. So we think that's very exciting to see how far you can go. But also last year, one of the nonprofits received a donation from Germany, from somebody that they didn't even know who it was. They don't even know how this person found them, but he somehow was doing a search and came across this platform and made a donation to them. So they have a new donor in Germany that they've never heard of before.
See, isn't that
It's
cool?
very
Your
exciting.
story can touch, and that is, sort of the magic of the internet.
Right.
But now suppose, Michael, we've got people out there watching on cable who maybe aren't comfortable with the internet, are not very tech savvy, but think, I want to connect with my
Absolutely.
community. How can they do that?
Well, this year we're partnering with Langley Federal Credit Union and their branches all over Hampton Roads, and they have agreed to accept checks on behalf of the nonprofits for this Giving Day. Checks need to be made out to the Peninsula Community Foundation because they're earmarked to us first, but then they're restricted to whichever cause. So put the foundation in the to line, but in the memo section, just put in the name of the nonprofit.
Organization, okay.
And just drop it off there. Or some nonprofits are doing a check collection drive beforehand, or they're incorporating an event where people can come by and either they'll do a bus tour of look and see what programs we're offering. Oh, and let's stop by the bank so you can make a contribution. But then,
Just twist your arm
just
a little
twist
bit.
your arm a little bit. So definitely, we wanted an event like this to make everybody feel like they could contribute. And we saw last year that for some people, the credit card was an obstacle, and we didn't.
Or the internet.
Or the internet, exactly.
I think,
so
that's
we want
true for some
everybody
folks.
to be a part of this because we all everybody can make a difference. If we pull all of our resources together, we can make a huge impact.
And I actually do see that more with the younger generation. The whole GoFundMe idea, the whole internet startup. I mean, it's like people are willing to help each other out and commit with this idea that small amounts build up and begin to make a difference. And if I help you, you help me, we're all in this together. I think
Absolutely.
it's really inspiring.
Well, and also look at the Als Ice Bucket challenge that happened last year. I mean, it started out as this little small thing, and next thing you know, it just blew up, and everybody.
Yeah, and they made
started-
millions.
they made
What
millions.
an impact on research for that disease.
Well, and also
But that-
awareness.
yeah.
People may have heard of what is ALS. They may have heard of ALS, may have heard of Lou Gehrig's, but didn't know that they were one and the same. So it brought so much education and just light to that issue.
Okay. And Kathy, I don't know if we said, your organization was the top recipient
We were the
last
top
year.
recipient.
You want to pitch it again just to let
Yes.
people know that you're
Yes,
out
last
there?
year we had 153 distinct donors who provided money to alternatives, and our average gift, over half, gave $25 or $50. So again, it's about, the power of the collective. And
Right.
so we want to be number one again.
Yay!
Yay.
And Hampton wants to be number
Yes.
one
Yes.
again. I think that's a huge statement.
Well, like last year, we had 1,800 donors contribute between prizes and donations. We raised over $190,000 in one day for the Hampton Roads community.
Thank you. I forgot to ask your total number. See, I was so busy
Right.
thinking
Right.
lots of small, but $200,000.
And for
That's-
alternatives, it ended up being $20,000 in a 24-hour period. So for us, it's remarkable.
So people might come in via one of the agencies or organizations, and
Right.
good for them. But if you're watching this on TV and you don't have that in, how can people go in and donate?
You can go to www.givelocal757.org beginning Tuesday, May 5th at noon through Wednesday, May 6th at noon.
Okay.
And so just go there and you can search by category, or if you know who you already want to give to, you can, whatever your favorite cause is. There are animals, there's arts and culture, there's environmental, there's children, there's education. It runs the full gamut.
It's going to be a tough choice,
It's
right?
going to be a hard
Yeah.
choice because there's a lot of great
But
organizations
it's only
out there.
$10, so you can spread the
Only-
wealth.
yes.
That's true. For
You can
people
budget
who-
this year, yes.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for telling us about this. I'm very excited. I
Thank you
hope
so much.
Hampton will be the top donor again. And
And we
Kathy,
hope
I
alternatives
hope you guys
will.
do well.
Yes, well, we have no doubt that they will do very well this year.
They reach a lot of people.
They do.
Makes
Thank
a
you.
big difference. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for watching. I hope you will tune in to the internet or go by a Langley Federal and make your donation noon May 5th to noon May 6th. And don't forget, you can give a small amount, you can give what you can give, or you can spread around what you have and hit a bunch of different organizations. And it's your chance to really make a difference locally. Thanks for watching.